This is an exciting day. There's two reasons why we're here today. One is to obviously show off the building, but please don't mistake it with a grand opening, because it's not the grand opening. But we're also here to receive a grant from the Texas Workforce Commissioner, Julian Alvarez. My name's Alex Mead, and I'm the President and CEO of the Mission Economic Development Corporation. And if you don't mind, I want to give you guys a little bit of a history of how we got to this building, or how we got here today. And it's going to lead to why the commissioner is here today. But I want to give you guys a little bit of a background. About 5 years ago, in fact 5 years ago this month, Mission EDC went through a massive overhaul. One that allowed us to start with a clean slate. In fact, it was so clean that when I walked into the EDC office, we had no furniture, no pens, no paper, no computers. So going from that to where we are today is something that's been very rewarding. It's been very eye-opening for us, but it's definitely been a great journey. So what we have today is not something that we, the EDC team, came up with, but an idea that came from various stakeholders, city officials, and of course our forward-thinking EDC board. The EDC team was basically just tasked with making it happen, and as you can see, we did. But I think it couldn't have happened if we didn't have the support of our EDC board. So if you all don't mind, I'm going to ask the EDC board to please stand up, and please let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, guys. When we started with a clean slate, many things came with it, because as you know, change doesn't always come easy. There were folks that were against this transition or this overhaul, and there were some folks that were for it. And luckily, we can say that whether they were for or against it, I think this is something to show that I think there was a positive result from it. The other thing I want to thank, the other folks I want to thank is some folks that we often overlook, which is folks from throughout the city, whether it's the maintenance folks to folks in different departments. And so one of the things that we did to appreciate them and to show that without them we couldn't be here today either, if you walked into the lobby and you saw a statement that said your mission starts here, obviously it's a play on the city of Mission, and it's a play on on the things that we're doing here. But the names on the wall are every single employee in the city of Mission. And we did that because oftentimes people forget that things only happen with elected officials. No offense to elected officials, but also upper management. But it really does take everybody to get this city to where it is today. So I want to thank all of them also, please. So since we started with a clean slate and literally with nothing, we decided to survey and really go out and talk to the community. I mean, this transition basically led us to believe that the previous folks that were doing the EDC, or the folks that were in that capacity, were obviously, not that they weren't doing anything wrong, but they were doing something that went maybe against to what some of the other folks believed. So we figured that we'd go out and do something that sometimes we forget to do, and that is go talk to the community. And so what we did is we went to survey the community, and the response was that they wanted their EDC to focus more on supporting small business and talent development. Basically, they wanted us to invest in the local. Imagine that, an EDC investing in the community rather than only investing in recruiting companies. But again, if we don't invest in ourselves, how do we expect others to invest in us? Well, over the years, we've done just that by creating programs like Ruby Red Ventures, which awards $100,000 a year to local entrepreneurs, or Code the Town, which teaches people how to code. Again, if we don't invest in developing local talent, how can we recruit companies? Education is a foundation to economic development. And to date, Ruby Red Ventures has funded over 35 mission-based businesses, and through Code the Town, we trained 2,000 kids in computer science. However, none of this would have been possible if it were not for the support of the EDC board. In addition, this could not have been made possible without the support of the city council, the city manager, and his team. So please join me in welcoming the city manager, Martin Garza. Sure.
Thank you, Alex. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're very excited here in the City of Mission. This is a great day for the City of Mission, and we want to welcome you all here. On behalf of Mayor Norberto Beto Salinas, the rest of the City Council members, thank you for being here with us on this special day for us. And, it takes a team to do what Alex and the EDC has done for us in the past year. This has been a transition for the City of Mission. It's been a transition for the EDC. And the relationships that Alex has been able to bring together as a leader in Mission has played a huge role in where we're at today in economic development in the City of Mission. And if you look around, you can see the people who are here today and the relationships that Alex and his team have been able to put together to be able to build a better tomorrow for the City of Mission. So Alex and the EDC board, thank you, congratulations, and we hope that this is going to be the next step for the City of Mission. But it has taken different steps to be able to get here. When we think about economic development, we think bringing in a restaurant, bringing in franchises, bringing in a hotel, but we forget the fundamentals, and Alex has been able to hit those points every time. Education, entrepreneurship, technology. Those are the three things that is going to be housed in this facility. Isn't that great? We have been able to move forward from just bringing in businesses, but building the foundation what creates not only great futures in businesses, but great leaders. We're going to have the opportunity to house Schreiner University, and that's a big step for us because this is a university who is coming down to the valley, wanting to build partnerships, wanting to recruit so they can move students up north and be able to prepare them for a better future. And so that hits certainly the educational part. We have Silver Learning who have been working with us. On the entrepreneurship part, we've had several programs. The Ruby Red Venture, that's a great program that the EDC was able to bring to the City of Mission. It's kind of like the Shark Tank. You've seen that on TV. And we've had the ability to bring two local individuals from the City of Mission who have been able to build a business, one in tortilla chips and the other one in actual dips. And they've been able to hit big boxes such as Walmart, H-E-B, and bring their products to the store. That's a great thing that we're doing here at Mission. Technology, what can I say? We've been working with robotics. We've been working with other programs such as Computer Code the Town. It was something that was very big. The first one's here in this area. And so again, I want to congratulate the EDC, Alex Mead, the whole board. I want to thank the council, our mayor, the rest of the council for being very supportive, not only of our staff, but certainly of our EDC board. So once again, thank you and congratulations.
So as you can see, we're very blessed here in the City of Mission. We've got the support from the local folks, from the council, the EDC board, but it also requires us to have support at the state level as well. Senator Chuy Hinojosa has been a big proponent of Mission and of the EDC, as well as State Representative Eddie Lucio III, Sergio Munoz, who couldn't be with us today, State Representative Oscar Longoria, and of course State Representative Bobby Guerra. And it takes not just the local folks to help out in these issues, in these endeavors, but it also takes folks at the state level. So if you all don't mind joining me to welcome State Senator Chuy Hinojosa.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
And thank you, Alex. For me, I'm very proud to be here in Mission, where I grew up. And I took a tour of this building, and it is impressive. I told Alex, you know what? I need an office here. And quite frankly, for us, at the state level, we see the changes that are taking place in our economy. We have made adjustments in our public education system, and that's important because now as we focus and the changes taking place in our economy, we're trying to focus more on engineering, on science, technology, math, to make sure that we prepare our youth, and those who want to go into business to be ready to be educated in the needs that our business community needs. I will tell you that this type of program is so important for not only to allow for entrepreneurship so that people who want to start a business get proper guidance, proper training, but also the creation of jobs so that people can make a living and be proud of what they do. For us here in Mission, I have to tell you that this would not have happened without the key leadership. You need leaders like Mayor Beto Salinas, Alex Meade, the City Council, the board, the community who involves and provides guidance and is willing to put and invest money. For us, this is teamwork. I'm always amazed when I'm in Mission, the continuing growth of business, the continuing growth of this community, the continuing growth of homes and families. And now, when I graduated, I won't tell you when I did, it was a long time ago, I used to have hair then. I played with Mission High School, with Mission Eagles, and I graduated in 1965. So the growth that's taking place here is amazing. And Alex, I really want to thank you for your leadership. City Manager Garza, and of course, a good mayor, Beto Salinas, and the whole community for what you've done. Because this will not only impact the city of Mission, it will have an impact for the whole Rio Grande Valley. And Alex, thank you so much for your leadership. And I was up in Austin Monday and Tuesday. I left Sunday because my son started law school at St. Mary's Law School. And I walked into his room Sunday evening, and it was a mess. I said, son, there are no mates around here, son, but you gotta be disciplined, focused, and study. You have to clean up your room. So last night I got here into the valley at 1 o'clock in the morning, but on my way back I surprised my son in San Antonio, his apartment, and guess what? He had cleaned up his room. And Alex, I'd like to make a special presentation of a Texas flag that was flown over the state of Texas capital to honor this very special day and the opening of this great center. And for those of you who have not taken a tour, you should. It is worth it. You'll love it. You'll like it. And here's my Texas flag to commemorate the special days. Alex, thank you.
Thank you. Put this right here. Thank you. So despite all the technology we have in the building, we didn't get a mic. So we're improvising. We're improvising with this little guy here. As you can see, again, I couldn't stress this enough. I mean, we're very fortunate to have the support that we have here in the city of Mission. But as with any public entity, as they keep growing and expanding, one of the issues that always comes to light is lack of funds. And so as we were consolidating programs or expanding programs, we realized that we needed to expand our programs and be able to expand our reach. And just as we were expanding these programs and really thinking on how we could develop them better, and also just as we were getting recognized by the White House for our program Code the Town, a gentleman by the name of Rafael Chacon decides to buy a building in the city of Mission. And Mr. Chacon is from Brownsville. And so he says, look, I can't show the building every time. Will you guys be able to show it on my behalf in case I can make it up to the valley or up to Mission? So we did. We started showing the building many times. And unfortunately, fortunately in our case, the only kind of business that was showing interest was the dollar type stores. And Daniel and I walked over the entire square foot of this building. We were even on the roof. And every time we were on the roof, we were reminded that it's right next door to City Hall. And so we said, would the mayor and the council want to see a dollar store next to City Hall, right? And so of course the response was, no, they wouldn't. And if they did, we'd probably be fired, right? And so we said, okay, so what can we do? How can we take advantage of this beautiful building that's right next door to City Hall? So we said, what if we approach Mr. Chacon about leasing the entire building? And so we did, but it wasn't easy because we weren't just going to lease the entire building. We were also, remember I said lack of funds, so we also didn't have any money to remodel or redo the entire building. So we said, Rafa, will you lease the entire building for us, but will you also renovate the entire building for us? And we can't pay you until we move in, you know? So it's been almost 2 years, and he barely received his first rent payment last month. In fact, when I called him and I said, "Hey, Rafa, we have your check," he was like, "What check?" "Oh, that check." They're like, "I've been paying a note for almost 2 years, right?" You know, we had to convince Mr. Chacon, and once we told him about all the programs that we're having and all the things that we're doing here, you know, we were very fortunate enough that Mr. Chacon's very community driven, and because of that, he also got excited about the project. And so I wanted to invite Mr. Chacon to come and say a few words. Some of you all have, the board hasn't even met him, because we've dealt with a project manager before who's Sandy Ray, and he's here somewhere. And that's who we saw on a regular basis. But Mr. Chacon was able to put together basically a team. If you guys have any questions as to who designed it, here it is, Laura Warren. If you have any questions as to who furnished it, Texas Wilson. Who provided the IT, Frontera. And so on, you know, of course, Mr. Chacon Terreas, and of course Bullard, with the general contractor. As much as we enjoy these people, I hope I never have to talk to them again, because we'll never want to do anything like this again. But please join me in welcoming Rafael Chacon.
Alex sent me a text last night and said, "Don't forget to shave." Hope I didn't let you down. Well, going a little bit behind on what Alex was mentioning here on history, I got a phone call about 4 or 5 years ago saying, "Rafa, I'm in Mission. I'd love for you to come and visit us and see what we're doing over here." And I said, "Sure." So I came probably the next week and got a little tour of Mission, and it was exciting. Back then, it was all of us that were in the real estate development after 2008. Well, it was a tough time to reposition ourselves in the market, and you know, we don't need to go back to 2008. So I told Alex, I said, "You know, I love it. I love the energy. I love the city. I love." I think I met back then the other city administrator, which I think is here right now. And I said, I want to do something in Mission, no? And you know, later I bought this building, and Alex was, I did it in part because of Alex and Daniel and all the city of Mission. And as Alex mentioned, I was thinking about doing something, you know, the price was right, and I was thinking about doing something like a big lots or a Harbor Freight or something, which they're looking for these types of buildings, no? But at the same time, I saw that, you know, where it's strategically located, and if you recall, it used to be a ropa usada, no? Which is basically, that's the lowest you can go in terms of income that a tenant can pay. So we went there and purchased it, and well, you know, here we are. No? I love the sign out there. It says the mission starts here. It mentions everybody. I think my name is somewhere in there. Really appreciate it. Very nice. But I always tell my employees, my family, you know, my business partners, you know, I want to do something that we can feel proud of. No, it's not about the money. It's not about something that in the future, our future generations can say they pulled it off. We made it happen. No? So I really feel proud of all of us that accomplished this. No, and I really want to thank Mayor Salinas. I understand that he's not here. Really want to thank Alex and Daniel for all of your support and going through this. I really want to thank also the board, which I hadn't met all of you, for the vision and supporting this great project. The city commissioners. Want to also thank Martin Garza, and all of elected officials. Eddie, Senator, I'm glad you're here to join us. And thank you very much. I'm going to do it.
Now remember, the purpose of this building, you know, if I go back here, the purpose of the building is to develop local talent, you know, develop small business. And so what you have here is you have 23 offices, we have classrooms, and you'll get to see them all. We have a lecture hall. And again, aside from this mic, we have probably the most technologically advanced building in South Texas. At least that's what Frontera sold us on. So let's hope, let's not test them today. Maybe later. But it is, you know, it is a building that we're very proud of, as Rafa mentioned. It is a building that you know, that when we were able to get this to work and we got the board, and of course Mr. Chacon is the investor. You know, I hope he doesn't kill me, but I want you guys to know, I mean, the investment on his half was over $6 million. And for him to not receive one single payment for almost 2 years is not something that anybody will do, especially if you're in real estate, because you usually invest if you're going to get some income. So that's a testament to how supportive he was of this project. But just when you think, you know, things can't get any better, one of your very good friends gets appointed to the Texas Workforce Commission. And so we start thinking, you know, we got classrooms, we got programs that we can offer here, you know, and so I don't think Julian had been in the office for not even 2 weeks, and I was already knocking on his door, and I was asking him, okay, what can you do now, right? Even though I was just having lunch with him the day before, and all of a sudden he's a commissioner, you know, what can you do now to help us with our programs? And so he talked to me about this high demand grant that they have. And so he says, Alex, you got to work with the local workforce board, Workforce Solutions. So we did. We reached out to Frank Almaraz and John Hershey, and we started getting to work on this project. It was something that took a lot of time, just as this building has taken a lot of time, and it was something that we couldn't have done. It was not something that I could do alone. You know, Daniel Silva, I know he's here. Judy, Berta, Teclo, Hector, everybody that's in the EDC team, we all played a big role in getting to the point that we are today. And even this grant, as many times as we wrote it and had to revise it and rewrite it, it was something that allowed us to further our mission. And the grant that we have is, and I'm going to introduce, we're going to have a student, I believe, here say a few words that's going through the program. But this grant allows us to train 10 adults in full stack web development, which should lead them to a starting salary of about $50,000. And programs like this can take somebody from a low-income family to a middle-income family in just a matter of, in this case, a matter of 12 weeks. We partnered up with a group called Code RGV, and Code RGV is a local nonprofit that also focuses on computer science. We have some of the members here, Drew Lentz, Olmo Maldonado, and I don't know if Rene Ramirez is here. But we have all these folks. Again, we were able to line all these stars together. And they came up with a program called Boot. And Boot is an intensive coding program. It's 10 to 12 hours per day, 5 days a week, for 12 weeks. Now, again, it's very intense, and right now they've been utilizing our old office, and I can tell you, I literally have seen adults crying in the hallway. That's how intense this is, because these folks are in lockdown. They can't get out of the classroom until until almost happy with the results. But I want you to hear from a student to say a few words, if you don't mind. Let's welcome him. And I don't know his name, but
my name is Rico Chapa. I'm part of the first class for Boot. And so they asked me to speak to you guys about my experience. And I've been racking my brain thinking, how do I share about this adventure I've been through? And I have to kind of go back a bit. I go back to when I was like 8 years old. I sat in the classroom, and I was really young, so the memories are kind of blurry. But I do remember the computer that was in front of me. It was an Apple, and the teacher had me walk through a script step by step, and we created our first program. It was a little tank, and it went across the screen, and it shot 2 or 3 bullets. But that at 8 years old planted a seed in my mind, and I really wanted to learn more about computers. But going forward, I wasn't very good at math. But it's still, that bookmark was there. And so fast forward to now, we have a program that, under the umbrella of Code RGV, will provide that same experience to children in this very building that will enable them not to have to wait 30 years to be able to use those tools and find those tools to create a future that they didn't know they could have. So And it is true. There are times we we do cry. I joke with other students. It's like if you don't have a lump in your throat, if you don't have anxiety, and you're not ready to cry, then you're not learning how to code. Because sometimes you can be looking over code for hours, and it was because you had an extra comma or forgot to put a comma in about, I don't know, 500 lines of code. So it can be frustrating. But the reward is there. And so through the program that we've learned, and under the umbrella of Code RGV, we have taken on the first class, which is for full stack web development. From the beginning, I had my first program that I wrote that took input and outputted it, and I shared it really excitedly with my 11-year-old cousin. And I said, "Come on!" He's like, "I'm going to show you my first program." And he's like, "Okay." And he came up, and I said, "Okay, well, do the program." He's like, "Okay." And he said, "What's your name?" And he put his name in, and then he pushed return, and it said, "Hello, Isaac." And he looked at me like, "Hey, what's next?" And I was like, "That's it." So he looked at me like someone who was felt very, very sorry for me. He's like, "So you want to be a programmer?" I'm, "All right." And then flash forward to today. We're just about to the end of our program, and me and my previous partner, Steve Alvarado, we were able to put together a Twitter bot that basically analyzes unstructured data that queries Watson, which is an artificial intelligence a platform engine that that basically will give you a feedback on the sentiment analysis of whatever input you put. So we decided to get an analysis of the current state of society. So we would read all the news, the current news from GoogleNews.com or newsgoogle.com, and it would return that sentiment analysis with a query through Twitter. We also have other students in the class who are creating a safe place for fashion, for people to be able to share and blog about fashion. We have other students in the class who have been able to create a website to contribute back to McAllen and to the Valley for the municipal pool district. And now I'm working on a program to be able to find those students who maybe do not test well, but still have the aptitude to be able to learn how to code. Because learning how to code really comes down to knowing how to learn. Because the information that we're learning is not static, it's dynamic, it's constantly changing. So that's been probably the most difficult part of Code Academy is learning something and then realizing that something's changed. So learning the ability to see those differences in that change, to be able to change with that change, so you can go ahead and institute change, has not been easy, but it's also probably the most rewarding because we have learned to learn. We are set to be able to contribute to the Valley in a way that we wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So I sincerely want to give sincere thanks to the Mission Economic Development Council for sponsoring us, allowing us to be in your office for months on end, and the Texas Workforce Commission for allowing the program to be able to go forward. And I am very excited about the opportunities that will come from a building like this that will empower the Valley to be able to infuse the unique culture that we have into the tech scene in a way that I think will be very exciting.
So, he touched on several things that it's, when we started Code the Town and we started looking at these programs, we didn't start them because we wanted to create a density of computer scientists. We didn't want a bunch of computer engineers. I mean, we do want them, but that wasn't the reason why we started it. It really started from again, going back to what I asked or what I mentioned earlier, which is talking to the community. When we started our program, Ruby Red Ventures, and people are sending us business plans and are competing like they do in the show Shark Tank, and we start seeing that they're not incorporating technology into their business plan. And we start asking, well, why don't you incorporate technology? And the response is very simple. They say, well, I don't know how. And so when they told us they don't know how, well, we said, well, let's teach them how. And so we started finding partners like Sylvan Learning and Code RGV and the others that we have to come up with a program that allows us to do this. But we started seeing that it's not just about coding. It teaches you problem solving. It teaches you logic. It teaches you so many different things that you can utilize in almost any industry that you go into. And so the more we started looking at it from that standpoint, the more we realized that this really was an economic development issue. Because if we don't develop the talent, we cannot recruit the companies. And oftentimes we would focus more on the companies than we would on the talent. But now, I think it's a day, I mean, we've been calling it around the office, this is economic development 2.0. We have to invest in talent in order to recruit those companies. And so again, having a partner, when Julian, and many of you that know Julian and I, we're close, and I was on his board when he was the president of the regional partnership here. But when we got to share, our program with him, and he got to see the impact it could have on workforce development, I think it was just something that worked. Again, I couldn't have asked for a better, the stars couldn't have lined any better than they did. So, Julian, I want to welcome you up here, and I would like for you to say a few words. I know you've helped us tremendously, not just us, but you're going to be here later today to meet with other entities in the Valley, and tomorrow. But I can tell you that we're very proud of you, and again, thanks for being here today.
I think this is a good time for Alex to ask for a raise. Just wanted to plant that seed. Just wanted to plant the seed here.
So what a great day it is for the Rio Grande Valley, especially Mission. And of course, later on today, we're going to be at DHR with another of its first kind of grants. I can literally say that the first 2 weeks that I had been appointed as your Commissioner of Texas Workforce representing labor, literally, Alex Meade called me right away, and he said, hey, I'd like to go to dinner. And if you know me, I will not pass up a free meal. But little did I know that Alex was going to be talking about something that he's been planning for a long time. And as a good friend of mine, he's always had some really great ideas. And, obviously one of the good things that I like about Alex is Alex always has thought, like me, regionally. So with his good partners like Redel Garza and Keith Patridge and some of the other EDCs here in the Valley, he's worked hard, and I knew he represented the whole group. So though some of them may not be here, I really don't know who's here yet, but though they may not be here, I can assure you that he always had them in mind. And Alex, I appreciate the fact that you have always worked regionally. Thank you. A round of applause would be good for Alex. So before I read some of my remarks, I did want to inform you that this was the only high demand grant that was awarded in the Valley, and it went to Alex Meade and the folks here at Mission. And so we're proud of you, Alex. I'm literally, as I mentioned to you earlier, within the first 2 weeks, I hadn't even settled in. I think I had just hired my new chief of staff, Jeanette De La Cruz, who was just here, and I wasn't even settled in. I hadn't even had a chance to see Representative Lucio or Longoria yet, but I had a chance to meet with HOSA's staff, and these people right away got me to work. And so I can tell you that within the first 2 weeks, Alex was there, wanted to meet, wanted to talk about how we could work together, partner up. And then I had DHR that said, hey, I'd like to come by and visit with you. And I said, no problem, Dr. Ambrosio, Hernandez, we'd be more than happy to meet with you. I haven't even settled into my office. I don't even know if I have chairs. Oh no, we're gonna be there tomorrow. So I said, okay. So you know how DHR is, and we were proud of that. And so from day one, we have been working hard. And I can assure you that it wouldn't have been possible without our good leadership of South Texas. I am proud to be representing you in the area. We have great leadership with the representatives that are here, with Oscar Longoria, Representative Lucio, and I know Senator Lucio unfortunately may have not been able to make it, Bobby Guerra, Terry Canales, Sergio Munoz. These guys are great leaders. And anytime you go anywhere, they always say, man, you have a great senator. Senator Chuy Hinojosa's office has been nothing but very supportive of all the things that we have done from Texas Workforce from the first day that I even got there and prior to that. Frank Almalaz is here representing Workforce Solutions here in Hidalgo County, and John Hershey, as Alex said, from day one these people have been working hard with him. I want to commend Teclo Garcia and Daniel Silva, who work here as well and have been working with our office. I talked to Alex more as a commissioner than I did as Alex as a friend. So, but now he wants something, and so he always wants something. It's a great day. Lou Gehrig, when he retired during a speech, said, "Today I consider myself one of the luckiest men on earth." And that's the way I feel today. I really do, representing each and every one of you. and all the 13.3 million Texas working people of this great state of ours. And so I'm proud to be doing that. On behalf of Texas Workforce, I am proud to present Code RGV with a high demand job training grant in the amount of $75,000 to provide 750 hours of coding to 25 individuals, leading to industry recognized certifications as a full stack developer, as an in-demand occupation. Technology touches everyone in our lives, including our jobs and what we do for recreation. This in turn has driven a high demand for developers with full understanding of all stages of computer software development, server and network environments, and user interface security. To the best of my knowledge, this is the best, as I mentioned, it is, of this type of award given to the Valley. Not only does TWC believe that there is a need, but Mission EDC has partnered with us to provide an additional $75,000 to Code RGB for stipends, laptops, and software. It is unimaginable, everyone, that just to think, as Senator Chuy Hinojosa mentioned earlier, that 50 years ago, which by the way, you played against my dad, he graduated in 1965, La Feria, so with Jim Hudson and all them, we would be talking about agriculture here in our backyards, farming, as the driver of the economic development in the Valley. Today, as we stand here at the Center for Education and Economic Development, we are talking about coding, technology, and this afternoon healthcare as the driven economic forces in the Rio Grande Valley. This transformation is nothing short of magical, and it is the type of transformation that will continue to make the Valley and Texas economically strong. I want to thank Alex for visiting with us. I will tell you that we have submitted our statewide initiatives, and there are other things that we are working on with our office. And we certainly have not just Texas in mind whenever we're thinking about economic development, but we have South Texas in mind. And you have great leadership in this area, and I just want to commend you with that. And I'm always going to be available. Representative Longoria, I want to thank you for all your office, and Representative Lucio, I was already promoting you again. But someday we'll be working that angle. I just want to thank the leadership of South Texas. I know we have representatives here from Senator Cornyn's office, and obviously Ted Cruz's office here as well, Cassie and Ana Garcia. All of this, believe me, has been a team effort. So I appreciate all of you for being here and for allowing us, Alex, to be a small part of this. And so with your leadership, we want to continue to work with you and your board, and we thank you. Oh, I'd like to say one more thing before I leave. I also like to recognize the staff. Alex had an opportunity to recognize the hardworking people that work for him. So we have Larry Temple here, who's our executive director, who we thought this is an important event for all of us. So we wanted our team, our leadership team, to be here. So Larry, will you stand up? We have Tom McCarty. Where's Tom at? Tom is our government relations director. So Melissa Portillo, who made this possible, Alex, who you talk to every day. Don't worry, every day. We have Dale Robertson, and will be with us. Dale loves your food down here. And of course, I'd be remiss if I wasn't introducing who I think is the hardest working person in my office, and that's Jeanette De La Cruz, my chief of staff. Thank you, Alex.
Before we move to the check presentation, I know Julian and I have to sign that check. Otherwise, Code RGV can cash it. That's okay. They can wait a few days until we transfer money from savings and checking. I want to thank you all for being here. One of the things that, one of the reasons, again, why we're focusing on computer science, or one of the things that we've learned is that, as Julian mentioned, the Valley was always known as an ag community. Little did we ever expect to be focusing on coding, right? But as we deal with companies, as we recruit companies, and as Julian mentioned, with Raudel here from Harlingen EDC, and we've got Steve with Westlaco EDC, oftentimes we think that we compete against each other, but we really don't. We're always working together. We may be focusing on this, they may be focusing on something else, but in the big picture, they all tend to complement each other one way or another. But the one thing that I think we're all moving in the direction with the university, the merger of the university, which, by the way, in my opinion, it's probably the biggest catalyst, the biggest impact that it will have in economic development long term. But I will tell you this, that in the past when we would recruit companies, when companies would come to the Valley, they would look at things on how we could work. They would come to the Valley because we could work well with our hands, right? We worked in ag, we can pick cotton or pick vegetables or what have you, or we can assemble things together, right? We can put things together. Very simple things that don't require high education, things that pay low wages. But I can tell you now that because of programs such as this, there's going to be a point in time, and I'm thinking it's in the near future, that companies are going to be looking not for what we can do with our hands, but what we could do with our minds. And the things that are going on in this building is going to have a bigger impact than any company that we could recruit in the entire Valley. We're going to be focusing on education, and we're going to be focusing on small business. And those two things, investing in local has never gone wrong, at least in the history of what I've been able to see. And these are things that are going to happen here. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to be here today, because I think this is a testament to not just what Mission is doing, but what you're going to see throughout the Valley, and of course with the leadership at the state level, and of course at the federal level with Cornyn and Cruz. I think we're all moving in the right direction, and I'm glad to be here and say that we're leading that effort. So if you all will join me and Julian in signing that check so we can make that presentation to Olmo before he gets antsy and doesn't want to be here anymore. So do we sign it?
Yeah, right here.
Right there? All right. Well, let me get the check, and then you guys can watch this.
You guys are going to freak out with my signature. For many of you who've never seen my signature, you're going to laugh. Don't laugh, Larry. You go first, Alex.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
Thanks so much. Of course.
We got a picture of it. Just don't cash it.
Senator? Oscar.
And you know what, let's get the board up here also, please. You all don't mind? We'll get a picture.
Thanks, bro. Yes, we can do it like this.
Got it?
Alex said he felt like Kim Kardashian.
It's a state checks over the mouse.
Right, thank you guys.
Let's do before session.
So, what we have here after this is one of our sponsors, Texas Wilson. One of our partners, Texas Wilson, who, by the way, is the entity that we got all this furniture from. So, if you guys are interested, I know Senator, you mentioned you like the furniture, so they're here if you want to talk to them. But.
Alex, what about the big screen you have at the community for football?
Yeah. Well, you'll get to see it. Drew Latz with Frontera is going to be giving tours as soon as we're done here. But we do have a lecture hall, and I believe that's where the senator is talking about. But Drew's going to give tech tours, and I really want you guys to take advantage and look at what we have here in the building. This is definitely a unique building. It's not only an education facility for small business, but it's also a co-working space. So people are going to be able to come here and utilize some of the spaces that we have here for a fee, of course. But before I let you guys go and enjoy your lunch, I want to thank the staff that we have here. You know, again, in 5 years, there's a lot of things that have happened. And the things that happened were, you know, leadership was changed at the board and at the staff level, and board members came in, and you know, to go through that transition is not easy, because you end up finding emotionally it's not good, but also you know, it doesn't give you confidence in the entity that you work for when there's so much transition. But I can tell you that the team that I have here is, you know, better than any team in the Valley. They've been able to stick through these changes and allowed us to get here. And you know, when I spoke to, when we started talking to Mr. Chacon, Judy, our executive assistant, she said, you know, Alex, every EDC director prior to you has attempted to build an office. And every time, for some reason or another, the project fails. And so, of course, you know, being hard-headed, I said, well, I want to be the EDC guy that actually gets it done, right? And so obviously we got it done, but it wasn't just me by myself, it was the staff. And so I want to see the staff all come up here, all of you, whether it's Hector, Teclo, and you know, Daniel, Judy, and Berta. And I want you guys to give them a round of applause, please. Probably working. I did tell her she can come on for a little bit. She didn't get the memo. But again, guys, thank you all so much. Please enjoy the food that was sponsored by Texas Wilson. We've got some food in the coffee shop. We're going to have a coffee shop here. And so if you guys can make your way out there, you can enjoy some food, or if you want to walk around the building, please feel free to do so. And thank you all for being here.